What workplace safety and health covers. The Workplace Safety and Health Act is an essential part of the new framework to cultivate good safety habits in all individuals. It requires stakeholders to take practicable measures to ensure the safety and health of workers and other people that are affected by the work being carried out. Workplace safety and health. The Workplace Safety and Health Framework. The three guiding principles are: reducing risks at source, requiring all stakeholders to eliminate or reduce the risks they create; instilling greater ownership of safety and health outcomes by industry; and preventing accidents through higher penalties for poor safety management. The Workplace Safety and Health Act has four key features. It places the responsibility for workplace safety on all stakeholders. It focuses on workplace safety and health systems and outcomes. It facilitates effective enforcement through the issuance of remedial orders. It imposes higher penalties for non-compliance and risky behavior. What the Act covers: all workplaces, unless exempted by the WSH Act. Responsibilities of stakeholders. Hazardous substances. Machinery and equipment. All workplaces, unless exempted by the WSH Act. The Workplace Safety and Health Act covers all factories and workplaces of various risk levels and industries. A workplace is any premises where a person carries out work. Some of these workplaces are further classified as a factory. A factory is any premises in which any of the following is carried out. Examples of factories include a manufacturing plant, a car servicing workshop, a shipyard and a construction work site. Responsibilities of stakeholders. The Workplace Safety and Health Act defines the responsibilities for the following stakeholder groups. If you are an employer, protect the safety and health of employees or workers working under your direct control. Duties include: conduct risk assessments to remove/control risks to workers, maintaining safe work facilities, ensuring safety in machinery/equipment/plant, develop control measures for dealing with emergencies, provide workers with adequate instruction/training/supervision. Responsibilities of stakeholders. If you are a principal, required to ensure that the contractor has the competency to carry out the work, has taken adequate safety and health measures necessary used by the contractor or the contractor's employees. Note: a principal is any person or organization who engages another person or organization to supply labor or perform work under a contract for service. Responsibilities of stakeholders. If you are an occupier, you must ensure that the workplace, all entrances to and exits from the workplace, and all machinery within are safe and without risk to the health of any person within those premises, even if the person is not one of your employees. An occupier may also be responsible for the common areas used by your employees and contractors. Responsibilities of stakeholders. If you are a manufacturer or supplier, ensure that any machinery, equipment you provide is safe for use. You are required to provide proper information on the safe use of the machinery. Ensure that the machinery or hazardous substance is safe for use. Ensure that the machinery or hazardous substance has been tested and examined so that it is safe for use. Responsibilities of stakeholders. If you are an installer or erector of machinery, ensure that all machinery and equipment installed or modified is safe and without health risks when properly used. If you are self-employed, required to take measures to ensure the safety and health of other members of the public. Responsibilities of stakeholders. If you are an employee, follow the safe working procedures introduced at the workplace. Do not engage in any unsafe act that may endanger lives. Use personal protective equipment provided to secure your safety, health while working. Do not tamper, misuse such items provided. Do not engage in any negligent act. Hazardous substances. The following are classified as hazardous substances under the Workplace Safety and Health Act. Carcinogens. Corrosive substances. Explosives. Flammable substances. Gases under pressure. Irritants. Mutagens. Organic peroxides. Oxidizing substances. Pyrophoric substances. Self-heating substances. Self-reactive substances. Sensitizers. Substances hazardous to aquatic environment. Substances which in contact with water, or emit flammable gases. Teratogens. Toxic substances, machinery and equipment. Manufacturers and suppliers of following machinery and equipment have the duty to ensure they are safe for use. Scaffolds and any materials or components used to erect them. Lifting equipment. Forklifts. Power presses. Bar benders. Equipment or piping intended for operation under pressure. Equipment/piping intended to contain corrosive/toxic/flammable substances. Welding equipment or fitting necessary to enable its use. Materials used for the construction of support structures. Explosive-powered tools. Equipment used for abrasive blasting, including any accessory, apparatus or fitting necessary to enable its use and operation. Workplace Safety and Health 2018. Achieving sustained improvements in WSH performance. A national, strategic and long-term approach is vital for Singapore to achieve sustained and continuous improvement in WSH standards. To achieve this objective, the WSH 2018 was co-drafted by the WSHC and the Ministry of Manpower, MOM. WSH 2018 spells out our national vision, the strategic outcomes and the strategies required to achieve the 2018 vision. It aims to synergize the efforts and resources of all stakeholders to achieve the vision of a safe and healthy workplace for everyone. A country renowned for the best practices in workplace safety and health and one of the best safety records in the world by bringing down the national fatality rate to less than 1.8 per 100,000 workers by 2018. Strategic outcomes, the reduction in WSH incident rates. Workplace safety and health is an integral part of business. Singapore as a renowned center of excellence for WSH, and a progressive and pervasive WSH culture. In order to achieve the desired outcomes, the 4 identified strategies below will help to guide the efforts of everyone, namely the government, industry stakeholders, employers, unions, workers, WSH professionals, professional and education institutions as well as service providers, in strengthening WSH improvements and paving the way towards safer and healthier workplaces. Strategy 1. Build strong capabilities to better manage WSH. Stakeholders to raise WSH performance. Build strong capabilities including quality training. Monitor development of WSH competencies. Improve risk management WSH capabilities, competency development and delivery, providing practical assistance to stakeholders, as well as building a world-class WSH institute. Strategy 2. Implement an effective regulatory framework. Target interventions and strong enforcement action to develop based on trends and developments in the industry. Create industry ownership for WSH outcomes. Undertake strategic intervention, resolve systemic lapses, extend enforcement reach in legislative reviews. Strategy 3. Promote benefits of WSH and recognize best practices. Encourage employers to better understand the benefits of good WSH performance. recognizes employers and workers who demonstrate good WSH practices and encourages them to share their experiences. This promotes cross-industry learning and facilitates continuous improvement. Outreach in WSH, recognition of WSH best practices, driving WSH improvements through large organizations, as well as creating a business case for the management of WSH. Strategy 4. Develop strong partnerships locally and internationally. Works on interagency and inter-industry collaboration. Engage renowned experts to critique on the development of WSH strategies and standards in Singapore, as well as international collaboration. What is safety culture? Values, beliefs, attitudes, behaviors, competencies. 4 key components. WSH culture is about people, and their acceptance of WSH as part of life. An organization which strives to excel in WSH must take active steps to create a workforce that believes in its declared WSH values, have the right attitudes for the job, competent in what they are doing, and exhibit the right set of behaviors. Do you have these beliefs? Accidents can't be avoided. We have done our best. Accidents will not occur again. We must be productive at any cost. Work can compromise safety up to an extent. Do your line staff has these beliefs? Safety is not my responsibility. Somebody else have to take care of that. I am doing it this way for so many years. Go ask the safety department people. It can't happen to me. Development of safety culture. Dependent state. Engineering measures taken to control hazards. Physical measures, e.g. barricades, valves, PPEs, arresters, insulators, LVSPs, ventilation. Sound engineering standards as mandatory practice. High level of supervision. WSH regime based on inspections, checklists. Clear rewards and punishments. Development of safety culture. Independent state. Implement WSH management system, WSHMS. Risk assessment. Safe work procedures and method statements. Training. Emergency preparedness. Incident investigation. Certification under OSS 18000, SS 506, ISRS. Development of safety culture. Interdependent state. Building trust between workers and management, having a common set of beliefs, and embracing a common culture of WSH. Ingredients of WSH culture. Management providing leadership in WSH. WSH-centric business policies. WSH as part of core business objectives. Accountability to WSH at all levels. Teamwork to achieve WSH results. Climbing the WSH culture ladder. Common hazards at workplace. Overview. Work-related injuries and diseases occur as a result of unsafe acts and unsafe conditions. Unsafe acts usually occur when employees are unaware of hazards or the proper work practices, not adopting the proper methods when lifting heavy objects or not using gloves when handling hazardous chemicals. Unsafe conditions refer to hazardous physical conditions of the work environment and equipment. A slippery floor or a poorly ventilated office. Work-related accidents and illness can be prevented by recognizing the hazards associated with the task to be undertaken and taking the necessary prevention measures. Common terminology. WSH Act 2006. Hazard is anything with the potential to cause bodily injury, include physical, chemical, biological, mechanical, electrical or ergonomic hazard. Risk is the likelihood that a hazard will cause a specific bodily injury to any person. Risk assessment means the process of evaluating the probability and consequences of injury or illness arising from exposure to an identified hazard, and determining the appropriate measures for risk control. Accident is any unintended event which causes bodily injury to a person, but does not include any bodily injury sustained by a person. Common workplace safety and health hazards. Falls from height. Noise hazard. Electrical hazard. Fire hazard. Chemical hazard. Fatigue. Manual handling hazard. Confined space hazard. Slips and trips on same level. Struck by or against objects. Indoor air quality issue, slips, trips, and falls. Potential slip and trips sources. Recommended preventive measures. Poor floor conditions, for example wet floor, uneven surfaces. Obstruction or protruding objects in walkways. Keep floors/stair dry and clean. Repair broken and cracked floors immediately. Good housekeeping. Sufficient lighting. Appropriate type of footwear. Common hazards at workplace. An unattended open drawer can become a trip and fall hazard. Proper warning signs to warn against liquid spills, falls from height. Any work activity that involves access to positions that cannot be reached when standing on the ground should be regarded as work at height. Falls from height sources. Safe use of ladders. Poor ladder conditions, for example shaky ladder, bent ladder. Carrying load while climbing up or down a ladder, no 3-point contact. Check ladders if in good condition before and after use. Use ladders on hard, even leveled, non-slippery surfaces. Face ladder when standing or climbing it. Always maintain 3-point contact with the ladder. Falls from height. Check ladders if in good condition before and after use. Use ladders on hard, even leveled, non-slippery surfaces. Face ladder when standing or climbing it. Always maintain 3-point contact with the ladder. Falls from height. Struck by object. A struck by injury refers to an injury as a result of being hit by falling or flying objects. Potential sources, struck by object. Recommended preventive measures. Overstacked/overloaded shelves. Storing heavy or frequently used objects above shoulder height. Reaching for objects stored on shelves where objects cannot be clearly seen. Standing or working underneath works being carried out at height. Do not overload shelves and cabinets. Stack materials in stable way. Store heavy or frequently used objects at lower shelves. Use step ladders to reach high shelves. Barricades and signs to warn of overhead work, struck by object. Falling shelves. Poor housekeeping. Struck by object recommended preventive measures. Potential sources. Bump into doors/glass panels. Bump into person/object, open drawers or cabinet. Recommended preventive measures. Mark glass doors with colored/translucent tape. Ensure sufficient space to move around in work area. Manual handling. Manual handling is any activity which lifting heavy objects. Jerk to lift an object off the floor. Running with heavy object. Carrying objects by the straps or tapes. Distribute your body weight equally to both feet. Place one foot at the side of the load and one foot behind the load. Ensure a good grip on object before moving off. Manual handling. Manual handling puts employees at the risk of musculoskeletal disorders, MSD, with sprains and strains on the back being one of the most common. Symptoms of MSD include numbness, pain, swelling, tingling sensation, weakness in affected body part, and/or stiffness of joints. Posture. Static posture. Stand or sit for long hours. Control measures. Encourage employees to stretch and move about at workstations. Anti-fatigue mats or chairs. Repetitive movements. Using same joints and muscle groups over extended period, for example packing bread, intensive data entry. Short regular breaks. Staff rotation. Manual handling. Use of anti-fatigue mat helps to relieve strains on back for employees who need to stand for prolonged periods. Postures. Postures. Office ergonomics: upright or slightly reclined sitting posture. Top of monitor screen at eye level. Shoulders are relaxed. Frequently used objects within reach. Electrical hazards: potential sources, recommended preventive measures. Defective equipment. Damaged electrical cords. Exposed wires. Overloaded circuits, plugs or extension cords. Wet/damp conditions. No overloading. Remove defective appliances. Inspect and maintain electrical appliances and power cords. Keep power cords away from heat, water and oil. Use approved electrical appliances or plugs. Electrical hazards. Fire hazards: potential sources, recommended preventive measures. Overloading of power circuits. Misuse of electrical appliances. Poor housekeeping. Ensure no overloading at electrical points. Follow electrical appliances recommendations and instructions. Establish emergency evacuation route of escape or emergency plan. Mechanical hazards. All mechanical action or motion is hazardous, but in varying degrees. Potential sources. Recommended preventive measures. Rotating, reciprocating and transverse motions. In running nip points. Cutting actions. Punching, shearing and bending actions. Enclosure guards. Interlocking guards. Automatic guards. Remote control, placement, feeding and ejecting. Mechanical hazards. Examples of mechanical hazards. Chemical hazards. Depending on the nature of job, employees may be required to handle industrial chemicals that are toxic, flammable or corrosive. Chemicals, upon entering human body, can lead to a variety of adverse health effects, including immediate effects or long-term effects. Chemical hazards: occupational diseases caused by chemicals are dermatitis, lung disease, poisoning, cancer, occupational lung disease. Chemical hazards: potential sources. Recommended preventive measures. Breathing in. Skin or eye absorption. Ingestion. Injection. Store products in their original containers. Use chemicals according to manufacturer's instruction and intention. Avoid mixing cleaning products. Wear protective equipment, PPE. Chemical hazards. Reading the safety data sheet. Biological hazards. Biological hazards refer to organic matters produced that are harmful to human health. These include parasites, viruses, bacteria, fungi and protein. The harmful effects are mainly of three types: infections, allergy and poisoning. Biological hazards: potential sources. Recommended preventive measures by elimination. Breathing in. Skin or eye absorption. Ingestion. Injection. Use respiratory protection, masks. Wear protective clothing. Wear goggles/face shields. Use gloves. Use shoe covers. Sterilize regularly. Remember personal hygiene. Biological hazards. Eliminating biological hazards. Environmental hazards. Environment is the things around. Environmental hazard is the risk of damage to the environment, e.g. air pollution, water pollution, toxins, radioactivity. Environmental hazards. Occupational disease. Recommended preventive measures by elimination. Noise-induced deafness. Environmental monitoring. Medical surveillance. Wear earplug, noise levels exceeding 85 dB. Construction hazards. The construction industry is one of the most hazardous industries. The top 4 causes of construction fatalities are falls, struck by, caught in/ between, and electrocutions. Construction hazards prevent falls. Wear and use personal fall arrest equipment. Install and maintain perimeter protection. Cover and secure floor openings and label floor opening covers. Use ladders and scaffolds safely. Construction hazards prevent struck by. Never position yourself between moving and fixed objects. Wear high visibility clothes near equipment/vehicles. Construction hazards prevent caught in/ between. Never enter an unprotected trench or excavation without an adequate protective system in place. Make sure the trench or excavation is protected either by sloping, shoring, benching or trench shield systems. Construction hazards prevent electrocutions. Locate and identify utilities before starting work. Look for overhead power lines when operating any equipment. Maintain a safe distance away from power lines. Do not operate portable electric tools unless they are grounded or double insulated. Use ground fault circuit interrupters for protection. Be alert to electrical hazards when working with ladders, scaffolds or other platforms. Risk assessment. Risk assessment is the process of identifying and analyzing safety and health hazards associated with work. Find it. Assessing to control the hazards and reduce level of risks involved. Assess it. Prioritizing measures to control the hazards and reduce the risks. Fix it. Health identification. Risk assessment. Steps to risk assessment. Health identification. Risk evaluation. Risk control. Risk assessment. Importance of risk assessment. A legal requirement under the Workplace Safety and Health, Risk Management, Regulations. A key instrument to reduce risk at the workplace. Makes stakeholders accountable for managing the risk they create. Risk assessment. Recognize risk at workplace. The hazards associated with the activity of each process. The type of potential accident and incident. The persons exposed to the hazards. Risk assessment. Risk matrix. The risk matrix idea is used to be decisive, non-argumentative and action-oriented. Risk assessment. Acceptability of risk. Risk assessment. Types of risk control. The control of hazards and reduction of risks can be accomplished by following the WSH hierarchy of control. Risk assessment. Types of risk control. Elimination. Elimination of risk refers to the total removal of the worker's exposure to the hazards. Substitution. This involves substituting a process or a product with a less hazardous. Engineering controls. Engineering controls are physical means that include changes to the work environment or work processes. Risk assessment. Types of risk control. Administrative controls. These reduce exposure to a hazard by adherence to procedures or instructions. Documentation should emphasize all the steps to be taken and the controls to be used in carrying out the activity safely. Personal protective equipment. Used only as a last resort, the success of this control depends critically on the protective equipment being chosen correctly and worn at all times.